Do it again. What is going on? Jazzy here. So, recently on some of the groups that I'm in, actually in one particular group, not some of the groups, because I'm in really only 2 different groups. A lot of the newer filmmakers, videographers, just getting started. They're getting their gear just like I did. And some of them are choosing the M50. I think it's a great camera. We still use it as a B camera, and sometimes as an A camera, depending on the situation. So we still use it a lot. However, people are asking, which lens should I get? And that really depends on what you're shooting. So I'll tell you what we shoot. If you shoot something similar, maybe what has applied to me will help you out, because I probably bought too much glass that I don't use. And there's some efficient ways to buy lenses for this camera. So it comes with a kit lens. What do I think about the kit lens? It's good. It's an f4. If you don't need a blurry background, the bokeh as they say, then I think it's pretty sharp. It's pretty good. It starts wide at 15 millimeters to 45. Effectively you're looking at, what is that, like 20 something to close to 75 or something like that on a full frame. So it's good. I don't know that I would, if I did it all over again, I don't know that I would buy the kit lens. When I was getting started, I didn't know, I just want a lens. So I went with it, and it hasn't been bad. Like I said, I still use it if we just have like a background right behind our talent. Next lens I bought when I bought these together was the M22 millimeter. This is a good lens. It looks really good with this. Something was missing with it for me, and I was never totally happy with it. What I realized getting the M50 is that this is an M mount camera. You got to get M mount lenses if you want native lenses. There's also a really nice 16 millimeter Sigma lens that's out, that's super fast, that looks pretty cool if you're going to stick with the M lenses. Now, I started realizing early on that I was probably going to be upgrading or getting a second camera that was probably going to have an EF mount. So maybe I'll figure that out a little bit later, because I bought a bunch of lenses. Anyhow, if I had to do it over again, I'll tell you what I would do. I probably wouldn't buy this 22. I'm not sure if I'd buy the kit lens. Not that it's bad, it's just that they think there's probably better lenses that are more suited to what you're going to shoot. Now, you might need to figure out what you're shooting, and this would be a good cheap lens to figure that out. So I take that back. If you're not sure what you're going to be shooting, then these two might not be, this one, no. The kit lens wouldn't be a bad way to go to figure out what you're going to be doing. You don't always need the bokeh right away. You start figuring out what you want to use. So the lens that I thought I wanted really badly, because I'd watched all the videos and everybody had the bokeh and it looked cool. Now we shoot corporate video, talking head, just like this, ton of informational type stuff. So I thought I wanted the nifty 50, and this is one, it's super duper inexpensive. Build quality, it's plasticky, but it gets the job done. For 150 bucks, I mean, you could just throw these at rocks and get new ones. So yeah, 150 bucks, looks really good, great blurry background. For me, shooting in the office, when I got this, the problem was that with a crop sensor, this is basically 85 millimeters. You gotta have the camera so far away from the talent that it's crazy. Now in a room like this is fine, but when I'm in some of these offices around here shooting our advisors, I couldn't fit the camera. I couldn't fit the camera as it was. Now you need an adapter. This is a Nifty 50 is an EF mount camera, so I should circle back there. So I did need to get this EF to M mount adapter. All right. So that's what I did. I realized I wanted to get the Nifty 50. I needed to fit it on my M50, and I got this adapter. This this pops off like that. Pop this on like that. Let me put this here, and bam, you got yourself 50 millimeters. So like this is basically 85 millimeters. I couldn't get it in the office, and I couldn't shoot with it. It's a real bummer. I really like the way it looked. It does look good. For pound, there is no better value lens than this Nifty 50. So I thought, well, how can I get this lens into a tighter space? Well, and the inventions out there are amazing. Science, love science. So this is a Viltrox Speedbooster. And what this does, this little adapter doesn't have a lens. It's just a hole, just gets the distance from the lens to the sensor and makes them work together. This has a lens in it. There's a little lens thing in here you can see. And this makes, this takes a lot of the crop away from your crop sensor. So this is 1.5 or 1.6 crop. Now you take that off, you put your Viltrox Speedbooster. These are only like 150. There's Metabone Speedboosters, but they're so much more expensive. And I think all the people selling stuff when they're giving reviews do the Metabones because they're gonna make more money. Because this Viltrox is awesome and it's only like 150 bucks. I think the Metabones ones they're just so expensive. Maybe they're better, I don't know. So you put the Viltrox Speedbooster on your M50. Now you put your 50 millimeter on here. The Viltrox Speedbooster does a couple things. It reduces the crop by 0.7. So now you're 50 millimeters, somewhere in the range of 54 to 56 millimeters. I don't know the math right offhand. I don't have a calculator. I was never that guy in school. So anyhow, this is now a 54 millimeter. Well, I was able to just barely get this in the office and get it to fit where I could get the shot I wanted. I was happy with it, but it was just a hassle and I couldn't get into every office. Now, what this did for me, which is very exciting, is now if I get another EF camera, which I did, I got a C100, which is a Super 35 crop sensor camera, and it takes EF mount lenses. So now when I got this camera, I didn't have to buy another lens. I've already got my nifty 50 for it. So the other thing I like about this situation with the Viltrox Speedbooster is now I have two lenses in one, right? I have a 56 millimeter and an 85 millimeter. It's two lenses. It's a lot of money saved right there. Okay, and then it only works for the M50 because you can't really stick a Speedbooster on my C100. But still, I didn't have to buy new lenses, so I really like that. So I wasn't totally happy with the 50 millimeter for what we were shooting in the tighter spaces, so I needed something a little wider, but I didn't want to go 22 millimeter wide. I wanted to still have some of that bokeh. And I started looking around, you know, on YouTube like everybody else does. And not everybody really likes this lens or talks a lot about this lens, but it's a 35 millimeter stabilized lens. And I can't remember if, I'll put the details in the description. Now it's loud. So it's loud, it's not an STM motor in here, it's loud and fast. So you do have to make sure that you've got a shotgun mic away from your camera, or you've got to have a lavalier set up. Because it is a little bit loud. I think that's a lot of people complain about it, and they're normally having like the vlogger setup where they've got the microphone right on the camera. I don't really do that. I use a lavalier. My camera I have to even just do manual anyways. At least that camera, not this camera. This camera's got great autofocus. Anyhow, this 35 millimeter, when without the Speedbooster, okay, without the Speedbooster is effectively like 54 millimeters. That's great. So I get a 54 millimeter. It's a little bit redundant because I got the nifty 50, but I will tell you the nifty 50's bokeh is a little bit better. So if you can use the nifty 50 and you want more bokeh, I would do that with the Viltrox Speedbooster. However, if you're in a tight spot, but you want really good bokeh, not quite as good, but really good, you can get this 35 millimeter. You use your Viltrox Speedbooster, right? Now you have a 40 millimeter. The other thing that I learned when I started doing some different types of shooting, I mainly do this, but sometimes I shoot in the field. The M50's got some stabilization in it. It's not like IBIS, it's some digital stabilization, which works actually fairly well. And this lens is stabilized. That's great. So if you want to go handheld, this combination is fantastic. So I found the workhorse lens for my videos like this where we're doing talking head has been this 35 millimeter, because I can get the 40, get close, get great bokeh, and then if I just don't even want to mess with the nifty 50, I can just, you know, if I just want to take one lens with me, then I can just take my EF to M adapter. I got a 40 and a 55 millimeter lens. This has been the #1 lens that we've used. If you're looking for a wide lens, we don't really shoot much of that, and I'm not 100% happy with this 24 EFS. It just turns out that since it was F-mount, that I was looking for something better than this. I'm not sure it's really that much better, if at all. But the nice thing is this will work on my C100. So see, I had to buy another piece of glass, and that's why I started doing this system. So I think the best advice I could give you, depending on what you're going to shoot, is I would get EF glass or whatever glass you're going to get, and get an adapter for the M mount so you don't have to buy double glass. That's the gist of it. The Viltrox Speedbooster is gold. I hope that helped, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.